So I got this pair of size 40 waist Levi's. I love the fade on them, and I want to try to make a long skirt with them, and I'm going to try to walk you through how I'm going to do it. So first thing I went ahead and did was release this bottom hem. Now I'm going to iron it. It just makes everything a little bit easier once we cut all the way to form the skirt. And I have a feeling that the skirt's going to be too long, so we might be cutting this off, but if I put this somewhere else on the skirt, it'll add an interesting detail. Now I'm cutting on the inside of this folded seam, all the way up and down the other leg. This folded seam just looks really good, and it makes the front of the skirt look a little bit better. So now that we have the jeans all the way opened up, you are going to cut, and remember to cut on the inside of the seam just because it looks better once we sew it. You're going to cut up to about here, leave a little bit of room before the fly, and then you're going to fold this over and pin right here. And even before that, if your sewing machine isn't that heavy duty, you're going to want to take some of this excess out, and you can do that with a seam ripper. That way you can sew right on the side of that hem. Similar concept as the front compared to the back, but this is how we're going to make the skirt actually tighter at the waist. We're going to cut on the outside of this hem all the way down, and then we're going to move this side over so it makes the waist smaller. But before then, I want to seam rip this pocket and this tag out, and maybe we can position them somewhere to kind of balance out the awkwardness that this hem being over here will bring, because you'll be able to see this fade under the pocket, but I think that'll add a cool touch if we move the pocket and the tag somewhere else on the skirt. So I seam ripped the pocket off, the tag off, and I even did this because we're about to cut right in here and move this over. This is how we're going to make the waist smaller. We grab this half and then pull it over. And I'm going to do a little bit of an offset just because that's something I like to do. I think it adds a little bit of extra uniqueness to the piece. All right, so as expected, the skirt was way too long when Kaylin tried it on. So I decided to cut the bottom of the pant legs off, and these are actually both sides, and I made a stack. And this way it'll give a little bit more coverage in the front. There's a lot of excess left inside because this is the amount of waist that we took off. So I'm actually gonna cut this off, and I think I'm gonna use this to also give a little bit more coverage in the front. So it is now completed. I moved the pocket over here. I put the little tab upside down just because that's something I like to do. It's full coverage in the front, so it goes all the way down. And then in the back, we left the slit. And up here, decided to put the tag. I also put that upside down. Now we're gonna throw it in the dryer and let these seams fray a little bit.